Okay, this week we're going to move on to the next task in the Getting Started with Python course, and that is drawing shapes with Python. So log in and go to task 4. So I'm just going to take you through it sort of step by step, and I'm going to leave, like I did last week, the last task for you to work on. I will put up the solution at some stage over the weekend for you to have a look at, but I would like you to try and attempt it yourself. So if I just click on the overview. So up to this point you've learned a number of different functions within Python. You've learned the print function, the input function. You have imported the random module into your program to allow you to use or to generate a random number. You've learned about different data types, of which a string and an integer are two examples. A string allowing you to store a series of characters, and an integer allowing you to store whole numbers. You've learned about variables, so we've created string variables to store characters and to store whole numbers. You've learned about if statements, or decision making, or branching as it's known, allowing you to decide between various options. And finally you've learned about the while loop, and the while loop is a structure that allows you to repeat a task until a condition is true. Now in this particular task you're going to learn a new concept, a new type of loop, and it's called a for loop. And a for loop is sometimes called a counter-based loop. It's also called an exit control loop. And how the for loop, basically how it works is that you can specify a number of times for that loop to iterate or to run. So that loop will run a specified number of times. You're also going to learn to import the turtle module into your Python program, and the turtle module, don't be fooled by the name, it's not really anything to do with the turtle. It's more akin to the pen function in Scratch that you might have used in the past. So it allows you to draw shapes, and that's exactly what this task is about. It's all about drawing different shapes. Of course it's about programming, but drawing shapes in a logical way using Python code. So let's get stuck in. So the first page really just shows you how to import the turtle module. So from turtle import star, so I guess it's a bit like the random import from random import star, which imports all the functions within the turtle module, or in the random module it imported all the functions within the random module. So that imports it into your program, and then you're going to create a turtle object. So Tim is going to be a turtle object, and the turtle object is really just a pen. It's not actually a turtle, as I said previously. So let's go to the step 2. So making Tim move. So really there are 4 ways you can make him move. So forward, right, left and back. And in the figure in brackets refers to the number of pixels that you can make him move in that particular direction. So this really just asks you to copy this code and to really just to show you how the pen or turtle, if you like, moves around the screen. So I just run that. I've done this before. So it just draws a random few lines just to show you how it works. Okay, let's jump into the next activity. So this activity then, you're going to get Tim the turtle to draw some specific shapes. More specifically, you're going to get him to draw a square and finish up where he started. So in terms of drawing a square, well, what do we know about a square? And a wee bit of maths revision. We know that a square has 4 sides. We know that a square has 4 sides of equal length. We know that a square has 4 angles of equal size. A square is symmetrical across two lines. So we know that the square has all four sides the same length, and we know that the angle between each line is exactly the same, i.e. 90 degrees. So what we're going to do now is we're going to turn this pseudocode, or these instructions, into actual code. So like we've done previously, we have imported the turtle module into this program. Then we've created a turtle object, Tim, and now we're going to get him to move forward 50 pixels, turn right 90 degrees, and then we're going to repeat that 4 times. Now I'm just going to copy. So there's 4 sets, so forward and right. So we just need to change that to right, 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 and right. So if we run that, we should see it draws a square shape, which is exact. Now you can make the square bigger, of course. You can change the number of pixels that they move. So if we just run that again, it can draw a bigger square, and so on. Now that's fine. That's seemed to work okay. So now what we're going to do is to draw a hexagon. Now again, I'm not sure if you've done this in Maths, you've done polygons in Maths, but a hexagon, just to show you, a hexagon looks like this. So it has 6 sides, and it's a regular hexagon, so all the sides are the same length, and all the angles, the exterior and the interior angles, are exactly the same as well. Now, I don't know if you've done exterior angles in Maths of a polygon, but we know that the angle on a straight line must add up to 180. So the angles in a 6-sided polygon add up to 720. Now, in terms of why they add up to 720, I'll leave that to your Maths teacher. But all the angles add up to 720. There are 6 angles, so that means each angle is 120 degrees, which leaves this angle here 60 degrees. So we know that this angle, the exterior angle on each apex, is 60 degrees. So going back to our Python code, we know then that if we just change that forward to 50, and then we say turn right at an angle of 60 degrees, forward 50, angle of 60 degrees. I'm just going to copy those 4 and replace those 4. So we've got 6 sides, a hexagon, so we need 6 sets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So let's run that. And there is our hexagon. Okay, so let's move on to the next step. So as you can see here, there is quite a bit of repetition in programming in this particular program, and repetition is, programmers don't like it. They like to be efficient. They like their programs to have as little code as possible to do the same job. So what we're going to do here is we're going to try and remove some of these lines of code and replace it with a loop. And a loop, if you remember the while loop, a loop will repeat a series of instructions either until a condition is true or a specified number of times. So we know that what is repeating here each time, we know that forward 50, right 60 are the 2 lines of code that repeat each time, and they repeat a number equal to 6 times, i.e. the number of sides in a hexagon. So how do then we replicate that in a for loop? So to do it in a for loop, this is the structure of a for loop. It's for I in range 6. So I is like a counter, which is set to 1 at the very start of the counting process. And then this is the upper limit of the counter. So in other words, each time the loop executes the code inside the loop, and I'm going to show you that in a wee second, the counter is increased by 1. And before the loop is run again, it checks to see if the counter is less than this number here. And if the counter is less than this number, then it will run the code inside the loop. So let's see how that actually works in practice. So from turtle import asterisk or all, Tim equals to turtle, so we've created a new turtle object. For I in range 6, Tim.forward, Tim.right. So what will happen, first time into the loop, I will be 1. Is 1 less than 6? Yes it is. Run the code. Increment the counter now to 2. Is 2 less than 6? Yes it is. Run the code. Increment the counter. I is 3, and so on and so forth until it gets to 7. Is 7 less than 6? No it isn't. Exit the loop and it stops running. So if we type that code in, just remember your little colon at the end of your for I in range 6 and run that, and you'll see it draws exactly the same shape. Okay, the next task then is up to you. Now you've just seen a little glimpse of the code, and I know you'll probably freeze frame it or pause it just to see how to do it, and that I'm happy with that. I'll put up the solution in the next couple of days, but if you just watch this little video and you'll see what you're supposed to draw. You're supposed to draw 3 shapes: a square, a triangle, and an octagon. Now just to show you what an octagon is, an octagon has 8 sides like an octopus. It's a regular octagon, so all the sides are the same length and all the angles are the same. Now again, going back to maths, the sum of the interior angles in an octagon is 1080, and so each angle is 135 degrees. So each interior angle is 135 degrees. So if this angle is 135 degrees, then this angle is 45. So each exterior angle is 45 degrees. Or you could simply divide 360 by 8, whatever floats your boat. So let's go back to the question. And you have to draw an octagon, a triangle, and a square. Now the trick is, in this, you should be able to do everything else reasonably straightforward. The trick is to draw the shapes without them actually touching each other. Now that is achieved by using the pen up and pen down. So the pen will have to come up. If you think about it, you will draw the shape, and then you lift your pen, you move it, and then you set your pen down again and you draw the next shape, and so on. So in other words, you just have to be careful when you're drawing the shapes that you don't join them together. So have a go at that, and then post a screenshot of your code up onto the assignment area.